Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
We all ready to go? Episode 84.
Y'all ready for this? No, remember? Stress Factory.
Okay. Y'all ready to laugh?
Let's talk Devils and Islanders. Let's talk Penguins and Rangers. But let's not talk about Flyers, because they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
Don't try it till you had it. This is episode 84 of the Friends and Rivals podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tom Harkness. Joining me each week are
Stephen Wojtowicz, and I, for one, am glad you're Harknessing the whole don't try it till you've had it.
Bill Fougere, ditto.
Nick Larita.
Nick.
Nick Larita.
Nick.
Nick Larita.
Nick.
Nick Larita.
Nick. Where is he on the shitter again?
Nick Larita.
Nick, now's the one you... Nick.
Nick Larita.
Is this thing on?
Nick Larita.
Well, Nick will not be joining us this evening. Nick got trapped at a family dinner, a fancy family dinner in Sedona, Arizona, where his brother, congratulations, Chris, but don't get married next time.
You got to think about the podcast, Chris.
Really do.
Please, next time.
This is
I mean, Lord willing, for you and your beautiful new wife, there isn't a next time, but maybe in 10 years, you're going to renew your vows, because I recently learned that your initial wedding vows only last 10 years.
That's right. No, listen.
And if you don't renew them after 10 years, you're basically a free agent operating on a year-to-year contract.
100%. The first time you get married, I mean, you may know the person, but you don't know the person, right? You may have lived with them, but you haven't really lived with them. After 10 years of marriage, you've actually lived with the person. And if you still want to be married to them after 10 years, it's good to go.
So
you have to renew.
I could have been a free man the last 10 years, and I just been sitting around here for no fucking reason?
I thought you knew this.
That's what I found out recently, too.
Goodness gracious, you guys. Now, I re-upped, and I renewed my vows at 10 years to my lovely wife.
And I believe you said now that's another 15 when you renew?
Yeah, at 25 years, yeah, and then 50.
So you renew at 10, then you got to renew at 25, and then you got to renew at 50.
Yeah, it's something like that. But the man's not responsible for doing it at 25. It should be the woman's responsibility. At
woman's work, huh? Oh, you misogynist.
That means
listen, I'm just saying.
I'm canceling you.
Guys, you ever want your wife to not do something, say to her, set it up. And she won't do it. Just say, set it up. And you won't ever have to worry about it getting done.
So my team, in fact, no team that I've ever rooted for on a professional level, it's only 4, has ever had a mascot. Now, Steve, your 2 of your teams have a mascot. Now, but back in the day when I used to go, my dad used to have season tickets through his work for New Jersey Nets games, for New Jersey Devil games, and the Yankees. I don't even think the Nets and the Devils had a mascot.
The Devils had it. No, we've talked about this in the past. The Devils did have a mascot back in the day.
He did? Okay.
Who they had to. He might have been the first ever canceled mascot.
What?
Because that was Peter Puck, who was kind of put on the shelf because he got caught molesting or inappropriately touching fans.
I do remember the story now. I do remember that story.
Before the Devil's Devil, yes, there was Peter Puck.
But your first experience to a mascot was what? The Philly Fanatic? Was he your first exposure to
the San Diego Chicken?
Yeah, San Diego Chicken.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia, the Philly Fanatic is not even named after the Phillies themselves are named after Philadelphia. There are certain mascots that are named certain things, and they make a lot of sense. Like the Anaheim, and I'm going to stick to the hockey right now, right? The Wild Wing. Okay, he's a duck for the Mighty Ducks. right? You have
Right.
Blades, who is a bear for the Bruins.
Okay.
You have the Devil, New Jersey Devils for the Devils. You have Nash for the Nashville Predators, who is a Predator. And then you just have some weird fucking
And they're
mascots
all recent. No,
that make absolutely no fucking sense. You
Fuck the
have
Flyers.
Gritty in
fuck
in
the
Philadelphia.
Flyers.
Fuck the
Fuck 'em.
Flyers. And even Iceberg, the Penguins mascot. He is a penguin, the Sharky for the Sharks. But you have fucking Louis, what looks like a polar bear for the St. Louis Blues. Thunderbug.
Well, you're not going to just have a musical note roaming the stadium.
Thunderbug for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, I mean, thunder, lightning, that kind of makes sense, except it's a bug.
All right. Bernie, who is a Saint Bernard for the Colorado Avalanche. That actually makes a lot of sense. The Saint Bernard used to save the people with the fucking
Go search for the dead people in the Avalanche.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll give him that one.
A little morbid. A little morbid.
Sparky from the Islanders. He looks like a fucking winged dragon. Where's Nick? Holy crap!
Fucking
no
Islanders
idea
are
they had
so
one.
stupid.
Right.
Nick, what's up with that? What's up with that mascot, Nick?
So and
No,
and our-
he doesn't have any. You don't have anything to say about that. We could tell.
and our favorite braced tooth mascot
Oh,
Chance from the Las Vegas
Seattle
Golden
Kraken.
Knights.
Oh,
So
Las Vegas,
this
right.
year, the Seattle Kraken now get a mascot. So what
It's a Kraken, right?
kind of mascot do you think they would get?
Some kind of
A
sea
Kraken.
monster.
A sea
Kraken.
monster, a Kraken, right? Well, they couldn't do the Kraken, right? Because the Red Wings have the octopus. Apparently, the octopus, is the mascot for the Detroit Red Wings, and apparently
Ugh.
that was it. So, Buoy is the name of the Seattle Kraken mascot.
So is it like a boat buoy, like something you'd find in the water?
He's a troll.
Troll.
A troll.
That makes no.
You know,
that
like
makes
one of
no
the
sense.
things you put on the end of your pencils and fucking.
Yeah, the white crazy hair.
Yeah. For the life of me, a troll. I don't get where they're getting these mascot inspirations from. I really don't. And even in other sports, Mr. Met, at least he fits in. Some of these mascots, they're absolutely forced, and oh boy, it's brutal. Buoy, the Seattle Kraken mascot, the troll. Buoy.
Buoy.
Yeah.
For the kids.
Buoy.
You know, he's gonna walk around. Troll's gonna walk around the crowd and make the kids smile. You know, whatever.
Listen, this is like the All-Star
Touch them
games.
where their bathing suit covers.
Like the All-Star games,
Elmo.
the mascots are for the kids. They're not for us. So get off my lawn. Linger longer. All right, I
It's
did.
not you, NJ. We love you, NJ.
Listen, this is going out to you, Buccigross. This is the second week in a row I asked you to come on the podcast. I don't know the proper methodology in which you'll say yes yet, but this is the second week in a row I have tweeted you and not given you enough time to respond.
Yeah, what
But I'm
time did you
calling you
tweet
out.
at 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock today?
It might have been a little later than that.
doesn't
Like
he
2
know-
hours. Okay.
Yeah, in the UAE. I mean,
Yeah, he should know. If ESPN is looking to grow their business in the United Arab Emirates, this is the podcast he should be coming on.
We had an open mic tonight. Tonight was the perfect
Oh,
opportunity.
He
for
could
him
have
to
filled
join.
in for the 4-hour taping.
I would have
And
loved
that's
to
just
heard,
and that's after we add in Nick's segment.
I would have loved to have heard his thoughts on the new Seattle Kraken mascot.
We might have to reach out to him again on that. That's a good topic.
All right, so it is season preview episode. We play Billy real hockey games next week.
woohoo.
No more preseason. I know
mean,
how
it's-
much you love preseason games.
It's a week and a half, really.
It's really more than a week away. But
No, next Monday. Isn't the first game next Monday? Or next
Yeah,
Tuesday?
okay.
Next Tuesday?
No, I thought it was
next being 2 away, yeah.
No. It's next week. The
a
Rangers play
week
the
and a day,
12th.
Bill.
Yeah, it's 8 days, Bill.
Okay.
And when people listen to this, it'll actually be a
Still a
week.
week and a half.
How is it a week and a half? Well, maybe for you.
A
But
week and a half.
so we're not gonna have what aren't they doing the European thing this year?
They are. I think that's the 7th, and I think that's this weekend.
Then we're good. Season started already.
Who
Real
watches
games.
that?
Real games. So let's do our season preview. Let's talk about our teams first. Let's ride the Metro. Sponsored by Nestle Quick.
Hello, boys and girls. Do you hate the taste of regular milk and need energy? Try Nestle Quick. One sip and you can feel the energy in your muscles. Nestle Quick, now available in chocolate and strawberry.
They say the real men drink pink. Then I'm a real man for sure. But if you like the brown, I still love you for who you are. Because it's time for acceptance of everyone, all preference. We're all quick on the inside anyway. Nestle Quick, it does the trick.
I almost fucked it up.
Wow, our
they did.
first ride on the Metro of the
year.
season.
That's right.
Choo.
All right. All right, Billy. What are the Penguins doing with the 9 defensemen that they have?
Well, they're down to 8 already. P.O. Joseph is not making the squad, and yeah, I mean Ty Smith is definitely the other one heading down. He played in an underwhelming preseason game last week. He's lost in the defensive zone still, which we kind of knew from when he was with the Devils. They after the shit game that he had, they paid some lip service to his offensive ability and said they, talked about the potential there and what he may be able to offer for them in the future. But while he's still on the roster and no final decisions have been made, it looks pretty clear he's obviously one of the guys that can option down to Scranton or Wilkes-Barre, and it looks like that's going to happen.
It was really. I was on YouTube today, and one of our old podcasts popped up, and it was episode 10. So I threw it on for shits and giggles, and I was fast forwarding through it, and there was one segment where Steve was talking about Ty Smith and Will Butcher and how they were the future of the New Jersey Devils defense. It made me laugh pretty hard.
I have to go
really
back now. I was
Yeah.
probably an eager little beaver.
Oh, you were
Oh,
excited.
Will Butcher and Ty Smith. Here's the
And-
future, baby.
And poor
very
little
proud
Will
of Ty
Butcher
Smith.
couldn't get into the lineup. Oh, it was great.
Oh, poor
fantastic.
Cement skates Will Butcher.
I'm sorry. You were talking about Ty Smith, and it just popped in my head.
Oh,
Well, the defensemen that are going to make it, it looks like the 7 that'll be staying around is pretty much set. But who's really going to be the 6th defenseman? I guess the question is it going to go to Ruedel or Friedman? I guess that's the big debate getting settled on the defensive end. Then with the Penguin forwards today, sadly, we saw Nadim Zahorna get picked up on waivers by the Calgary Flames.
Where's he from?
No longer a Penguin, but from Brno in the Czech Republic. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Our 6'7" forward is no longer a Penguin. And I don't get it sometimes. Like they get these guys that come into the lineup, they do a good job. I'm not sure what they want them to do to stick with the team and make it. But
It's not like Zahorna was breaking the bank either, right? He was. I'm
No,
sure he
not at
wasn't
all.
making that much money.
I do think that that they're a little more concerned in filling the roster with role players who they have in mind to kill penalties. I don't know. Zorn I have not seen him try to kill a penalty. But I think if he was like an ace penalty killer, there's no way they would have let him go. They're trying to fill those bottom lines with guys who are going to do that, like a Josh Archibald, maybe that Amy Poehler guy from that they got from Montreal. These are guys that are probably going to stick around. Drew O'Connor, they're trying to see how he does on penalty killing in this preseason. I think that a lot there in the fourth line, especially, is going to depend on their performance in that regard. Especially since they don't have Brian Boyle, they don't have Zach Aston Reese, anchors of what was at the start of last season a very, very good penalty kill, and now they're just trying to kind of reassemble that and see if they can get some quality out of those guys. Outside of that, the first couple lines are pretty well set. I think the big question is, well, two big questions are, does Raquel play on the first line with Crosby, or does Russ stay there with Crosby and Gensel?
Gensel? Gensel?
Gensel? I'd kind of like to see Russ maybe try to play with Malkin to see if he could spark that line a little bit, since Raquel seemed like he was a good fit with Crosby when they played together. I'd like Russ a little more, and I would maybe hope to see, since we have Malkin sitting there and as a second line center still, I'd like to see if they could maybe change that pairing around and set him down on the second line.
So two guys you were talking about, this Archibald guy and Brian Rust, both scored goals tonight. And Rust was playing with Malkin. It was on the NHL Network, so I was able to watch a little bit of it.
Ah, very nice.
So there's your Penguins report from me.
Thank you.
Wow. I didn't know we had two Penguins reporters. This is great.
And to start the season, assuming he gets to the start of the season healthy, I believe Jason Zucker would be on that line with Malkin on the left side. And I like that. I like them together. But I would also like to see Zucker play more than 6 games in the season. So we'll see where that goes. And that's where their depth is really going to get tested. If he's a guy that can't stay in the lineup again, then you'll have to talk about like bringing Kapanen up to the second line, or I know Kapanen's comfortable with Jeff Carter. I don't know how much he's going to produce. I know those guys get along. I know those guys have a little bit of chemistry. I'd like to see him stay there and not be on the top 2 lines again, if that's at all possible. So that's how the Penguins are shaping up for the 22-23 season.
Now, listen, even though Nick is not here with us tonight, he did record an intro.
Oh, great.
A
Islanders
review for
talk.
his team. I know it's going to be
Islanders talk with Nick. Everybody get
be-
your pillows.
Islanders
It's going to be
again.
Nick talking for like 20 straight minutes about
Get your
shitty
blankies,
Islanders.
get your pillows.
Ugh.
Oh, Barzal, or Sorokin.
Is Parisi still on that team? Jesus Christ.
Yes, he is.
What's Aaron Sorkin gonna do next?
Geriatric fucking Islanders.
This is not even the Ranger fan saying this is great. All right, Nick, I guess you gotta have to tell us. Go ahead.
All right. Thanks, Tom, for the lovely intro to my team and the preview this year. Getting it in on the annual team previews. So let's talk a little bit about the lines and what I think is going to happen this year. Since we've had a very little change with the Isles, only two real roster changes. One being the addition of Romanov, who's going to be the second, looks like the first pair of defensemen with Noah Dobson. Adding him to the fold in that trade for the first round pick earlier in the year, signing a 3-year deal. Him and Dobson are going to likely be paired together for I'd say probably most of the season, unless they don't seem to work out. Because we have Ryan Pulak and Pelech as the second pair, likely to be the shutdown pair. I don't see them changing very much. We did see them move around a bunch last year when there was a lot of folks out from COVID, but with hopefully, knock on wood, that's me knocking on wood, that there's no major injuries or bouts of COVID going through the team. There should not be a big difference with the two of them playing, moving around again, unless Romanov and Dobson have any kind of chemistry issues. There could then be some movement. Following up with Mayfield and Robin Salo now, not Tommy, but Robin Salo, Tom. And so the other change that the team basically also on the defensive side is basically a promotion of Robin Salo to the 6th spot, where we had a rotation of the veterans in Chara and Green last year, kind of playing that role. Robin Salo did get some time. Sebastian Aho got some time. And we kind of all, as Isles fans, knew that the Robin Salo was going to be the eventual guy here. So it looks like he's going to get the shot. He's looked pretty good in preseason. He got about 19 minutes of time, and in the game yesterday against the Flyers, yesterday being Sunday, October 2nd. And then it looks like he's also the number 2 power play, playing on the defense, obviously, for the second power play unit. So it looks like from the defensive side, that's really where we've had changes. And it was kind of a big area we needed that to happen. So my thinking is Romanov Dobson as the first pair, Pulak Pelech as the second pair, Mayfield Salo as the third pair, with Salo and Dobson being the two guys playing the power play points. Dobson for power play 1, Salo for power play 2. Pelech and Mayfield are likely the top pair for the penalty kill, and assuming it's going to be likely either combination of Romanov and Pulak, or as the penalty kill unit for the PK2, and that could be all a mismatch. It could be. You could even see Romanov and Mayfield as the first PK. I think that way they did roll it out a little bit, and you might see Pelech and Pulak just play together the rest of the time. So we'll see how that goes. You may see them all rotate those around. From the front, the forwards, though, we're going to see likely there's literally no changes here, and I think the only real change at all we're going to see is the biggest change, I think, is going to be seeing Palmieri on the top line. Now, there was a lot of talk as to why Palmieri didn't play at top line last year very much. We got him at the deadline, almost 2 years ago now, and he very rarely played with Barzal. Now, I'm thinking that we've seen some kind of a little bit of this early in the preseason, but I think it makes the most sense that they start to put Palmieri there. With Parise, Barzal, and Palmieri in the top line. Parise and Barzal seem to really play well together, which, great. Not exactly what you expect, for a top line with Parise, but he seems to be that guy that works really well at Barzal, digs the pucks out, and he has obviously some skill left where he can really get some pucks on the net, get the puck to the guys who need it. And then you got Palmieri, the guy who I think really needs to be on that top line, score goals, and be the guy that Barzal can help set up. I'm hoping to see that line stick together in the beginning of the year. Second line, seeing Anders Lee and Brock Nelson, likely with Bailey to start on the wing. Nelson and Lee have played together before, and I think they work pretty well together. I think taking Lee off Barzal's line is probably a good idea. We've saw Lee and Barzal the last 2 seasons together a lot until they started taking him off and putting Parise on, and that seemed to really be better for Barzy. And I think the biggest spot here will be the Bailey slot. It'll be hard to see him. It's a possibility we see him get moved out to third or fourth lines, or even be benched at some point if he's not playing well. I say that because he's kind of the guy that was the scapegoat last year. He's going to hit 1,000 games played as an Islander. He's played his whole career as an Islander, but that's kind of a big milestone for him and the team. Will he end up staying on that line? Hard to say. You also have in the third line, Beauvillier and Pajot, I think should stick together. They looked really good together in the last couple of years, I think, and I like them together. I think their speed together, their ability to kind of shut down other lines and score goals while on the counterattack, I think is really good. Will be interesting is who plays with them. I think Wahlstrom starts that spot in the third line, and then that's going to be kind of the contention spot with Wahlstrom and Bellows. They could be rotating in and out. You could even see Bailey get dropped out and Beauvillier move up to the second line. But the third line, second line, kind of right wing spots are going to be really the rotations I think you're going to see, because as we get to the fourth line of Martin, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck, which the identity line, it's been the identity line for the last 4 years. The team, it's coming to a close, and it may be this year, it may be next year. Cizikas is cemented as the center on the fourth line, but with Martin and Clutterbuck, injuries and just the eventual age catching up to them, those guys could start to be broken up a bit. That's been kind of the talk. I think Martin and Johnson will be the guys that will be rotating back and forth for each other. I think they're going to start trying to get Ross Johnson some more looks as opposed to just being the extra all the time. And then Kiefer Bellows could really play at the bottom. He could play a role in the bottom, the bottom six of this team. He could end up playing in Clutterbuck's spot. He played a little bit in that area, and he throws a lot of hits, and he's got a grindy game. So he could be that. Those two guys could really be the guys that jump up in that fourth line with Martin and Clutterbuck, is to keep them maybe fresh or see how they go. I think that'll be really interesting to watch. Bellows can move up into the third line. Wahlstrom could move up into the second line. It's going to be tricky to see where they end up. But those guys are going to be really the places, I think, with all second, third line, fourth line. There's a lot of movement on the right side and the wings on the fourth. So we've talked about the defense, the forwards, goalies. We know that there's not going to be much of a change. Sorokin and Varlamov are going to be the 1-2. I think Sorokin is probably going to get 60% of the games. Varley probably about 40%. We'll see how that plays out. We have Skarkic. I think that's the guy's name in AHL as the third goalie if any injuries happen. I don't really care about his first name because I rarely care about any goalies that are not like a major guy that's going to come up and take over or be a real threat to any of the top two guys in our rotation. And you have a 1A, 1B situation with Sorokin and Varley. I don't see that letting up any spots for anybody else. And I think they're pretty much the best 1A, 1B in the league. I think that's up for debate. We can talk about it as the season goes on. And we may have to make another bet, Tom, later in the season or early in the season. But that's, I think, going to be the strongest point of the team is the goaltending. With a pretty solid veteran set of lines in the forwards. Defense is obviously going to be. We'll see how it goes with two new additions and really one, but with Salo being a full-time member, I think it's really feels like he's moving into that spot, and full-time gives him really that, it feels like a new spot. The call-ups from the AHL looks like we have Nikita Shushkinov as a possible guy come up and score some goals. Yeah, he got a look from the Isles this preseason. He scored at least one goal, but he's looked pretty fast. He's got a couple partial breakaways. He's been able to pull off. He's played in the KHL the last few years, and so he came over to the Isles, and he may get some. Looks like he might get some looks in the NHL. We'll see. We've had other guys from the K come up and not end up going down to the AHL or have to report down to the AHL and not make the team straight out of camp. And those guys didn't stick. They went back to the K. So we'll see what happens. He could be a guy that gets some looks. I don't know. We'll give it a. He's kind of like the wild card. Could be something. Could be likely nothing, but we'll give it a go. We have Holmstrom and Ratu, the other two prospects that could get called up throughout the year on the forward side. First round. Holmstrom's first round pick from 2019. Ratu, the second round pick. I forget which one. Very close in those rounds. From 2 years ago. I think it was a second round pick, late. And he could also get a call up, but we'll see how that season goes. I think he'll likely get a few games here and there. And then lastly, Sebastian Aho is likely the guy to get call-ups. He'll probably be the seventh defenseman for us, being on the squad. Call-ups from defense could be Greg Hutton, and then probably somebody else on defense. I'm not really sure if we'll see anybody else there. And just a quick run through. I know this is taking a bit, but Barzal's deal's not yet done as of today, as of right now. Season's coming close. It could lock him up, hopefully, for whatever amount of money. I had a feeling it would be in the range of I can't remember the guy's name now, but I think it was around 8 mil, probably 7-8 year range, if we can make an 8-year deal. But I think it was 7 years, 8 million was what I was thinking around for Barzal. We'll see how that ends up. If my predictions of around 8 million is right or not. I think he's at a point in his career where he's obviously got all the talent, but he just hasn't put together a season like he did as a rookie, and hasn't been at that point per game play for quite some time last few years. You could easily call it because of the system he plays in, and that really reduces the potential value of his contract, in my opinion. But he wants to play here. It sounded like from interviews he was ready to go and sign a deal this year and be a career Islander. But ink's not dried yet, so we'll see how that plays out. The team really should rebuild. This is a rebound year. They should make the playoffs. That's really the goal. They're a playoff team, and they really should be able to have a deep run like they've had in previous years. Their goal scoring and power play are the big question marks. I think if they can get the forward lines correct, they will be able to really, the team could really shine and give teams trouble. But the power play is a big question mark. They've been running in preseason 4 forwards, 1 defense, with Dobson on the power play 1 and Salo on the power play 2. So we'll see how that works out. It's not been pretty last few years, and that's the one thing I think that in order for this team to really take the next step, they have to solve the power play problem that hasn't been solved since Tavares left. Full year of Salo and Romanov are the only real changes to the roster, as I mentioned. Lane Lambert is going to be under pressure early with expectations of the team to win the cup this year. So he's really going to have to get some early wins, and they can't be we can't go through these long droughts of wins without it being a big problem. He's going to have to deal with the media in New York, and it's going to be interesting to see how he handles it all. And especially if they don't have a good start to the year, especially considering last year they were in the hole extremely early, after the 13 game road trip was over, while they were close to 500. In parts of that, I think near the end of it, they were pretty close to 500. But once the bug hit, they hit that 9, 10, 11 game losing streak. I think it was 11 off the top of my head. But they couldn't get out of the hole. And so this year, They don't want to be in that hole, and they need to get an early start. And lastly, I think Sorokin will lead the team in votes in the All-Star game. For us, I think he'll be their representative. Barzal, Dobson, Nelson all are the other real stars to the team. And we all know, Barzal, Nelson had 40 goals last year. Barzal has been Barzal, and then Dobson's was a real breakout last year as our defenseman. All three of those guys could really hopefully push the team into the next level. They need to get out of this, last year shitstorm we had, and potentially, do really well for us. So that's it. That's my team preview for the season. I hope Isles do well, and I'm going to throw it back over to you, Tom.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Nick. That was really insightful.
Brilliant insight.
I mean,
Brilliant.
Wow. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat until the Icelanders' first game.
That was good stuff.
Wow. All right, Steve, tell us how Jackie is going to be the $8 million man this year.
Well, in fear that you're going to go ahead and listen to this again in some future time, I'm not going to say that much about Jack. No, I mean, the three keys to the season are getting competent goaltending, which would be if Vanacek and Blackwood stay healthy all year. They should at least give the Devils competent goaltending. They've both played very well in the preseason. They just need to stay healthy. Hughes and Heischer staying healthy for the whole year. I'm going to throw in regular season because we know Heischer is out right now with cramps / hamstring issue. And seeing what the vets come in and how they add to the mix. You got Andre Platt, Eric Koala, Brendan Smith, and John Marine.
Oh no!
And that are really going to add to this team. So
you froze for solid. You were Walt Disney for about 5-6 seconds. It was great.
Oh, no.
You're back.
Yeah, you are back though. Welcome back.
What was I saying?
John Marie.
Yeah, that's right.
2 quality players up front, 2 quality players in the back end. I had the ability to sit down with Tom Fitzgerald and ask him about the new players, and his quote was, "You need to have winners in order to build a winner." So here, we'll go play that clip right now.
Well, we talk about championships, right? That's what we want to, that's what we strive for, is to win a championship, multiple championships. Mm-hmm. But to do that, I do think you have to have people who actually won championships and have experience on what it takes to win a championship or even get through first round, never mind going 4 rounds.
So that was Tom Fitzgerald of the New Jersey Devils with his insight in terms of his off-season moves of going ahead and getting some more veterans to mix in with the young guys. Speaking of young guys,
who are the winners that they brought in?
Palat, and not just Stanley Cup winners, but guys that have gone deep into the playoffs. So Marino's been on teams that have gone deep into the playoffs. Walla's been on teams that have gone deep into the playoffs.
You might want to check you might want to check that, Steve.
Second round isn't.
No, Marino's never.
No, all right. Well, even still, guys that have made it to the playoffs. How about that? Is that
okay? That's more good.
That's better than nothing.
That's more good.
The youth label no longer applies to these guys like Hughes and Heischer because
hate that fucking guy. Ugh.
They got enough experience now. So now it's youth with experience is what the label should be. I'm excited for the season for this upcoming season. Unlike I have been the last couple of years. I really am looking forward to this team playing competitive games in mid to late March. And as I'll explain in my predictions later, I got them just missing the playoffs, which is a great step in the right direction for this team's development.
Listen, I can't disagree with you on them just missing the playoffs, because once you get past, a couple teams, then that middle bunch of teams like Columbus, the Islanders, the Devils, Capitals, it's going to be a race that I'm going to pay attention to.
They're just going to
Sure.
cannibalize each other. That's the problem. And then you got a team like from the Atlantic, like in Ottawa, who might feast on teams in their own division that squeak in and take a spot. But
Well, that's true. And look, we'll definitely talk about Ottawa later. We'll talk about all those teams. But let's shift our attention to your reigning Metro Division champions, the New York Rangers. Look, top three lines are set. Where they play is probably going to be jumbled, but where they're going to start the year, maybe a little bit of surprise is with Goudreau playing on the right side of Kreider and Zibanejad. Really thought, especially maybe before that, for his first game against the Devils, Blaze was kind of maybe all but had that spot locked up. But it seems like they're going to maybe move him a little bit more slow and let him get back and get his feet under him a little bit. He didn't look that good in that first exhibition game against the Devils that he played. So maybe they're going to just give him some time, give him some fourth line minutes, and slowly but surely work his way back up to playing with those guys. But that's not really the story of the camp. The story of camp right now is the fourth line. And it's it's 4 spots for 8 guys. You have Blaze and Carpenter, you have Reeves and Hunt, Vesey and Rydhall, and Brodzinski and Gauthier. 4 of those guys are going to make it. One's going to be a scratch just about every night. And I think we can safely say that Gauthier is going to be waived. Brodzinski is certainly going to go down because he can. And with Gauthier's contract either being waived to Hartford, or being claimed by somebody else, like he's an $800,000 guy who can provide something for your fourth line. So I'm sure that he will not pass through waivers. I'm sure he'll be claimed. Sure, my famous last words. But if they can sign Jimmy Vesey to a cost-effective contract, they can't spend really any more than $900,000 for him, and he only made $800,000 last year playing with the Devils. So if they can get him in that $800,000 to $900,000 range to basically replace Gauthier, I think it's a really good move. He's not only scored goals, but he's been very defensively solid, and Gallant likes him for the penalty kill. And it seems like a lot of these guys who are good on the penalty kill are always going to, find jobs in the NHL, even if they are, welcomed on PTOs. And the other guy I think is going to make it is Hunt. So your fourth line is going to be Carpenter, Reeves, and Blaze, I think, to open up with Hunt and Vesey as your extra forwards. Everybody else is going to get waived or sent to Hartford. They're not going to carry 23 guys at the start of camp or at the start of the season. They're going to carry 22. I can't envision them carrying 21 guys without that extra defenseman, and at least one extra forward, one extra defenseman. So I think they're going to carry 22 guys. And this is going to be pretty important because this has trade deadline implications written all over it. So they'll start the season at about $1 million under the cap. And by the time the cap rolls or the season rolls along and we get to the trade deadline, they'll have somewhere in that $4 to $6 million range, barring anything catastrophe happening, to work with at the trade deadline. And you could get, comparable players what you got last year to fill certain spots if you need them to, or just go for depth guys with that $4 to $5 million in cap space. Not only that, they've kind of reloaded on their draft picks, especially with that trade of Lundqvist to Dallas. If nothing else, that gives them a little bit more ammunition at this deadline to kind of go for it. Defense is pretty well locked up. You got your Trouba and Miller. You got your Lindgren and Fox in that battle between Hayek and Jones. Jones won that hands down. To me, it wasn't even a contest. And he'll be playing with Schneider. And then you got your goalies. And look, this team on paper is, to me, superior than the team that they put forward last year. And it's basically replacing one guy. It's replacing Trocheck with Strome. However, Lafreniere's got another year under his belt. Keandre Miller's got another year under his belt. Kako, Filipino, is like a 12-year fucking veteran at this point now. But these guys all got a little bit of confidence in the playoffs last year, and toward the end of the year, they had a, from what all reports were, they had a great working off season to get into game shape and get ready for camp. And it looks like they're all having fun. The only thing that they have to really watch out for is to stay healthy. Panarin's got to stay healthy. Zibanejad, Kreider, all those core guys have got to stay healthy. For them, I don't think they need to stay healthy or they're going to miss the playoffs. Because I think this is a playoff team, even if one of those guys do go down. But you want to stay as healthy as possible during the course of the year, and that's what they had on their side last year was health. Besides role playing guys go down, their top guys were their top guys last year, and they were around all year. So health is certainly going to be paramount moving forward, and you can say that about just about any team in the NHL. But like Steve, I'm really excited. Last year, we kind of didn't know where the Rangers were going to fit. Were they going to be battling for that last playoff spot, let alone get the number 2 spot in the Metro. This year, they're probably one of the favorites going into the year in the Metro division, if not the Eastern Conference. So there is not only a lot of pressure on them, there's a lot of expectations on them this year. And it's going to be, I'm all in to see how they handle that expectation and how they handle that type of pressure this year. Are they going to go out to a slow start? Zibanejad is notorious, the past couple of years for starting out slow and then ending the season with like 100 points. So it's, is he going to start off slow? Can Kreider duplicate the same season? I don't think he needs to duplicate the same season, but I think he still needs to be a 40-goal guy in order for this team to be hugely successful. And Kravtsov is another huge question mark. Panarin has kind of taken Kravtsov under his wing. They kind of, and they speak the same language, but every day after practice or when practice ends, they're always on the ice together, working on individual drills, one-time passes and whatnot. So listen, drop the fucking puck ready. Let's go. I can't wait till fucking the 12th to see the Rangers take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm all in. I'm ready to fucking go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's go. Let's give our predictions about the others.
Speaking of let's go do our predictions.
Let's go do our predictions about what's going to go on in the where you want to start? You want to start in the Atlantic or you want to start out west?
Let's start out west. Let's start out west.
Let's
get them done with.
Way out west. Let's go to the Pacific. Give me your playoff teams in the Pacific.
I will go first.
Oh.
So I've got Calgary, Vancouver, and Edmonton finishing 1, 2, and 3. And I've got LA also making the playoffs out of the Pacific.
Nice. I have, you ready for this? Not only that I had them making the playoffs last year, which I think I was the only one, but listen to this one. The LA Kings win the Pacific.
Wow.
How about that for a hot take? I got the Kings, the Calgary Flames, the Edmonton Oilers, and the surprise of that division is going to be the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, that would be a surprise.
I tried to do that duck surprise last season. It did not work out well for me.
Well, I'm hoping you get the mojo this year to do it.
So I'm taking the Calgary Flames, the LA Kings, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Vancouver Canucks.
All right. So Bill and I had the same, just in a little different order.
Yep. The Central. I mean, listen, I think we're all going to be singing the same tune. Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, Nick. Hey, Nick, who do you got?
Nick Larita.
Yeah. Right. That
sounds like
right?
Nick.
That was
sounds
one,
like
right?
him already.
Nick's got. What are you doing, Nick? You're killing me, kid. So he's got 3 playoff teams in the Pacific. He's got Edmonton, Calgary, and Vegas.
Wow.
Vegas.
That's a
Yeah,
hot
Vegas,
mess.
baby.
That is a hot mess out. If there
Vegas.
has ever been a hot mess out there, it is the Golden Knights. They all gave all their players braces this year.
Nick believes those braces are starting to take shape.
That's right. They'll have nice smiles. That's about it. Listen, in the Central, I think we're all going to be singing the same tune about the Colorado Avalanche. But after that, I think there's three solid teams, and I mean, you look at Nashville; they bolstered their lineup not only on the forwards but on the back end too. I like Nashville at number 2, Minnesota 3, St.
Hey,
Louis.
Tom, why don't you go
4.
first? Why don't you
Well,
go first?
I was mixing it up.
Yeah, because that's how we always do it. We always mix it up.
Everybody,
We don't always go in the same order.
We'll mix it up this time. Why not? Show prep. What do you want me to do next?
Nick Loretta.
Let's see what gems Nick got. He's got Colorado, St. Louis, Minnesota, and he's got 2 from the Central in the Dallas Stars as the number 1 wild card, and the Nashville Predators as the number 2 wild card. Bill?
Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, just because we're changing it up.
I've got a little bit of a different, take. I believe we're going to see the Coyotes and the Blackhawks, the Jets, and the Flyers are going to get traded to the Western Conference.
Fuck the Flyers. That'd be great.
Fuck the Flyers. Just kidding. No, I'm taking Colorado, Minnesota. I guess I'm giving Colorado the edge here. I think Minnesota is going to be a bit improved and Colorado is going to be a bit worse, but I guess I'm going to still think Colorado is going to take the division. Then St. Louis and Nashville.
So I'm sorry, Colorado, St. Louis, and Nashville, or in Minnesota.
Yep.
Got the same 4, just in a different order. I got Colorado, St. Louis, and Nashville making it. Minnesota is the wild card.
Ooh. It looks like Nick wrote these in the car, by the way.
Of course he did.
Because look, he's in the fucking car.
Of course. And why couldn't he just text the list? Why did he have to show you a picture
No,
of how he hand wrote it?
But then he sent me the note files.
Jesus Christ.
But he also wrote them down. Why did you do that? Wait,
Double authentication. He's in IT,
right. Oh my
You
God.
wouldn't know it from his lack of expertise using Zoom last week, but he's in IT.
Whoa.
How about the Atlantic?
Holy
Who's
hell.
Nick got in the Atlantic?
Nick Loretta.
In the Atlantic, Nick has 4 playoff teams. He's got Toronto, Tampa, Florida, and Ottawa.
Wow.
Ooh.
Which we did kind of comment
Ooh.
about, the cannibalization of the
did.
Metro and then Ottawa jumping in there. Bill?
I got the division was so uneven last season. I don't see any of the playoff teams, falling out of the playoffs, or any of the teams that didn't make the playoffs pushing their way in like in one season. The gap is so wide. I mean, I think Buffalo, Detroit, Ottawa are all going to improve. There's a lot of room for improvement. My teams are going to be first place Toronto, second place Tampa, third place Boston, fourth place Florida.
Boston.
So do you have Florida making the playoffs, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Florida will make the playoffs.
I only have 3 making it out of the Atlantic. Just Toronto, Florida, and Tampa.
I have 4 making it out of the Atlantic, with Tampa winning it, Florida, Toronto, and the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, you broke up for me a little bit there. Who you got?
I'm sorry, Tampa, Florida, Toronto, and Ottawa.
Okay.
Very similar to
I had Ottawa as 4 just on the outside looking in. And that brings us
baby.
back to the Metro. Bill?
All right, for the Metro, I got the New York Rangers at the top, the Carolina Hurricanes in second, the New Jersey Devils in third,
Whoa!
the Pittsburgh Penguins in fourth.
Whoa!
Now I know it's not going to happen. Damn it. I've got Carolina winning the division.
Fuck you.
New York second. Columbus in third. Islanders in fourth. And the fifth place team also making the playoffs, keeping the streak alive, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Wow. Well, listen, I got the Rangers. I have Carolina, and then I have Pittsburgh. And then listen, that fourth team could be Columbus, it could be Washington, it could be New Jersey, it could be the Islanders. But I have the Blue Jackets just inching out all of them.
So I have in my notes that I think New Jersey is going to miss the playoffs by 5 points.
Dude, it might be it might be 1 point.
I think they're going to, I think they're going to go into a little bit of a dry spell right at the end.
As long as they stay healthy. I
much
think,
like a certain baseball team who shit the bed this weekend. When push comes to shove, I think they're just going to be, that inexperience is going to show through on the majority of the roster, and they're going to go into a little slump at the end of the season.
I mean, I think
when Scherzer gives up home runs like that, though.
The same thing is actually the issue with the Devils. Like, I think the key for the Devils, how much did they learn about playing defense, and how much are they going to learn about playing? Like they've got the youth and the talent and the ability to put goals up if they're playing well. And I think it's going to increase exponentially if they learn how to take care of their own end of the ice. And I mean, I could see the Devils not learning and missing the playoffs by a mile, even though I put them in third.
They've been doing it in the preseason. There definitely hasn't been as much wide open people on the crease as there was last year. And now, granted, it's only the preseason, but those players are playing the structure that the coaches put in. So it doesn't matter if it's preseason or not. You're seeing the players in the correct positions. So
and I think that
could happen.
They're going to need it.
I hope you're right, buddy.
Nick Loretta.
So
Nick
coming out of
Nick has the Rangers, Hurricanes, Penguins, and the Islanders. Of course you do.
Of course he does. If I just think back to what he said during his 20-minute dissertation earlier on the Islanders, I could have told you that. Does he have a team coming out of the Eastern Conference and going to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Yes.
What team does he have coming out of the Eastern Conference and going to the Stanley Cup?
His East final.
Mm-hmm.
Rangers and Senators.
Senators.
Wowzers.
Man, did they make a move.
Wowzers. And the Senators.
Nick, can I ask you a question? I know you weren't driving when you sent this list to Tom because you texted a picture from the car. Were you fucking drunk?
Oh my God. He has them beating Toronto in the first round in 7, of course. And beating Tampa in 5. Wowzers. And
Okay,
then
I'm not gonna go into that kind of detail with the playoff series.
No, I didn't either. But
No.
then he has the Rangers sweeping.
Oh
Ottawa,
no, the long break is going to kill him in the finals.
which I love.
The long break is going to hurt them now.
Oh, but he also has the Rangers beating the Islanders in the.
Ooh.
Of course, it goes 7. Of course, it does. But he has the Rangers coming out.
Who do you have? Who do you have coming out of the East, Tom?
I have the Rangers over the Florida Panthers.
Bill, who do you have coming out of the East?
I have the Rangers coming out of the East over the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow. Could you imagine that fucking series? Can you imagine that series? Wow.
Canadian teams going deep in the playoffs.
Wow.
For the first time since Montreal last year, which doesn't seem that significant, but
I don't have an Eastern Conference runner-up. I just have the Carolina Hurricanes coming out of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, good for you.
You're welcome. And who's Nick got coming out of the West?
Nick has a rematch of the Western Conference Final as last year. He has the Avs over the Oilers in 7.
Okay. You?
I have Colorado beating the Los Angeles Kings in the West.
And Bill?
I've got the Calgary Flames defeating the Minnesota Wild coming out of the West.
You know, that actually could happen. It really could.
Well, yeah, my thought was that I should name a scenario where there's something that actually could happen, as opposed to saying like
Wow.
It's
a bold
I-
strategy, Cod. Let's see how that plays out.
I don't want to say the Flames beating the Flyers out of the West, even though I joked before that the Flyers would change conferences. Fuck the Flyers.
Fuck the Flyers.
He had him playing the Yankees, but for some reason he changed.
That's the
it.
wrong sport.
He then figured he'd go with something that could happen. I've got Colorado coming out again from the Western Conference. I just think just too deep a fucking team. They're just too good.
Yeah, but do they have the goaltending now?
They got Georgiev. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Do they have the goaltending now? Well, I don't know. You think he's better than what they had last year?
Here you go. You want a hot take? Jonathan Bernier is going to get traded to the Avalanche for Cale Makar.
Wow, what a hot
You
take
heard
that
it
was.
here first. The trade is 1-for-1.
Yeah, right. You'd have to include Hughes and Heischer in that deal
Yeah.
too.
Both of them.
Both of them, exactly. All right.
Who's Nick got winning Le Coupe de Stanley?
Nick Larita.
And he even gave you the Conn Smythe winner too.
Of course he did. Why
He's
wouldn't
an
he?
overachiever, that Nick.
Jesus Christ.
He
What
played
a
the whole thing
nerd.
out on like NHL like 2022.
Yeah, he did it already. He has the Rangers over the Avalanche in 7 with Igor as the Conn Smythe winner. You gotta love him. Gotta love Nick.
He just doesn't want to have to buy you another fucking shirt, so he said that. Who's Tom got winning the Stanley Cup?
This is sit down. This is gonna be a little bit of a surprise though, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The New York Rangers.
Wow.
I know. I am ready. Let's go. Drop the goddamn puck.
And what will the score of game 1 be?
12-11.
Damn.
3 field goals. 3 field goals. Solid. Bill has
The New York Rangers defeating
the New York Rangers winning the Stanley Cup.
I don't think, Billy, in your entire life, have you ever predicted the Rangers to win the cup?
No.
I've never heard it out of your mouth. I've
He
never
did.
heard you be optimistic.
No,
about
he's
the Rangers
lying.
ever.
He's lying. He did once. It was 1940.
I wasn't alive back then.
Steve was.
It's 3 weeks old. I'm only 3 weeks older than him. I've got Colorado winning it again. Just because I've got no brain and I can't think of anything else.
Can you imagine your lives if the Rangers do win the cup?
I was
this
not picking the
podcast?
fucking Rangers. That's for fucking. Oh,
Could you
I will
imagine your
fucking.
lives.
I will. Pete Dewar, you're next up on the podcast to be the New Jersey Devils representative because I will quit.
Oh, write that down.
Write it down. Damn straight.
Write that down.
Bold, put that shit in bold letters.
Oh, I always love these days because we always get to look back at the end of the year and say, "Wow, what the fuck are we thinking? about?
What a bunch of idiots we are.
What the fuck?"
For those of you
Calendar,
keeping
last year
score at
so-
home, by the way, for those of you keeping score at home, the wind speed at Tom's house last week was 52 miles an hour. So that was 52 miles an hour in Wesley Chapel. So Austin Matthews over under number for the secondary bet was 52.
Wait, did we bet on that?
We didn't really bet on that, no, but people
Should we?
people at home might be betting on that.
Should we bet on that?
I mean, 52 is a lot more realistic. That's
Right. Then
than 56 and a half.
right.
I
That's-
know
that's-
Bill's very anti
Oh, he's never
expecting
taken
someone
any-
to score 50.
Never
I
happened.
would take over 52.
I would take the over as well.
I'm still taking under.
Still taking the under. Under at 52.5.
Yep.
And Nick had over 56.5. So I'm guessing he would say also over 52.
Guessing he's taking the over.
Just a guess that he would
That makes
also
sense.
say over. Because that's
Wow.
something that could really happen.
Wow. All right. Wowzers. All right. Here's a hot topic. In the preseason.
Are we talking about the store in the mall?
Oh yeah. We're going to hot topic
posters.
right now.
Poster section.
Billy, let's go.
I could spend minutes.
Player gets injured in the preseason, can be replaced by somebody who was scratched in that game. So that way you don't lose manpower in the preseason and you can roll your lines and everything will be fine. And even during the regular season, what do you think of that?
No.
I
know you're such a fucking traditionalist, but if someone gets hurt in baseball, the player gets replaced. They don't fucking play with 8 fielders. And the
Well,
same thing goes in football.
You
have
don't lose
extra
manpower
players.
on the ice either, but somebody else hops off the bench and goes and plays. No, because it's gonna get exploited because somebody's gonna come up with some fucking mysterious injury when you got a guy that they want to move into the game. There's no way they
Well,
get.
But how? Why? Because that one of the players is playing like shit, and you can just say, okay, fake an injury. We're gonna dress this guy for the second and the third period.
It could be any number of scenarios. You want a player that is out of the lineup to play a certain role. You want to protect the lead. You got a better defensive player sitting around. Oh, this guy's hurt, and we want this guy to come in the game. Or you got like a big bruising defenseman that is a little, that doesn't get the start, but you want him for later in the game. The game starts to turn ugly, and you want the big guy to come in and knock some people around. You got a goon sitting on the bench. You want to get him fight. Like I wouldn't trust anybody in pro sports not to exploit this and act like, oh, this guy's hurt and go pull somebody else into the game.
No, but even with the like goofy rule, like if you sit out before the All-Star game, you have to sit out the game after the All-Star game. I'm sure there would be something like that in there. So if the player comes out of the game due to injury, he can't play the next game or something to that effect. I'm sure that because your scenario that you're painting, you're probably spot on, but they would come up with some goofy rule that, you can't play the next game if you come out with an injury to try and protect against that.
They'd have to be creative with that. I'd have to see what those ideas are. Cause I don't necessarily know, cause look, if I've got a guy who comes out of a game and sometimes it's clear he can't come back in the next game with a certain kind of injury. And that's also the kind of injury where this is really legit. But sometimes if a guy comes out of a game that you don't know,
The extent of the injury.
if he's going to come back or not, I wouldn't sit there. I wouldn't go replace him anyway. I'd go with the guys that I have. If he's like a player that, if he can go the next game, I want him to go. Then if he comes out of the game, then I'm not going to bring somebody in if that's the rule.
Yeah, they were saying, I think I heard this on 32 Thoughts, and they were saying that, in some cases the team is paying, players a substantial amount of money to just sit on the sidelines for the majority of the season. In some cases, it's like 800. It's over $1 million that they're paying these players just to, watch the games. So they're trying. I think they're trying with different ways to maybe get value for the money that they're paying these guys that can't crack the lineup for some fucking reason.
Well, here's a good idea. Don't sign a player to $1 million contract that can't make your fucking roster.
Well, you have league minimums, man, that you have to play. You have to pay these guys. What's the league minimum now? Is it 725 or 675, somewhere in that range? But even still, if a guy's making $700,000 and he only plays an eighth of the season, I mean, that's good for your team because you've been pretty fucking healthy all year, but you're not getting the value out of that guy. And I think the ownership is trying to get value out of that guy.
So they're getting paid anyway. Why not just expand the roster past?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, have them suit up then.
19 skaters on your bench, 20 skaters on your bench, whatever you want. Like, why not? If these guys are sticking around and you're paying them,
Here's my issue. You're going to take a guy after a period who's been sitting in a suit up in a luxury box and have him come down and jump into an NHL game
Yeah, but
right in the middle of it.
I'm sure that everybody will then suit up for pregame warmups, right?
Still,
And at
then
least
he's
get
going to
that
suit
skate
up,
in.
and then what's he going to do? Stay in his gear and maybe go skate on the practice rink for 5 minutes?
I don't know. Do they have a practice rink underneath? I don't
Sometimes,
know if
like
they
the
have it at
Devils
Garden.
do.
I don't think they have it at the Garden. I don't think every
Well.
NHL arena does.
They will after they're forced out of the world's most shittiest arena.
You're right. It'll probably be like a half a sheet rink that they'll put in some of these places, like batting cages and shit like that.
I wouldn't want to be that player.
Personally, I think hockey players are used to being men down in certain situations, and for the better part of a game, they can play with 5 defensemen or with 11 forwards. I think they've been trained to do that. The only case where you can do something like this is for goalies, right? The emergency goalie situations. But me personally, I wouldn't be for this rule. I'm more on the traditional side. But I just thought it was an interesting topic. I wanted to know
Nick, what's your take?
Yeah. Yeah.
Salient point.
I
Salient
love
point.
impression Nick. That's great.
How about Randy Travis the third? Does he have?
Oh,
Nope. All
where's
right. So
Randy?
now
Oh,
it's
we need
time
Randy Travis
for
the third.
trivia with Bill.
Oh,
Yeah.
God damn it.
Now this is the wrong Bill.
You guys are gonna love this one. Okay. The Los Angeles Kings won the Stanley Cup in 2014.
Fuck you. I hate this
Ooh, I
fucking
do like
question.
this already.
Go fuck yourself.
How many times had they won the cup before 2014?
Let's see. They beat the Devils in 12.
Mm-hmm.
They had Gretzky.
They didn't win the cup when they had Gretzky.
I know that dipshit.
Well, then why did you bring it up, dipshit?
4.
111.
111. I don't think there's been 111
Just a-
Stanley Cups.
Yeah, I don't think that could really happen.
I think there has been.
I think there has been. Yeah,
I think there has
maybe
been.
just barely.
1800s.
No, that's incorrect.
Which is incorrect, 4 or 111?
That's a good
Both
point.
are incorrect. We have not had a correct answer yet.
Do other LA franchises championships count? Like the
You mean like
Dodgers.
the
Can we count the Dodgers?
No.
Well, the Lakers have won a lot.
Right. The
So
Lakers.
we got
have
it.
won
That's a lot.
shit
That's a
ton.
lot of
Ugh,
championships.
that is a lot.
No.
And the Rams won the Super Bowl last year, right?
Right.
You can count all the Clippers championships to go with this.
I don't think the Clippers have won. I don't think that's fair.
I think the LA Galaxy have done well in MLS. I think they've won a championship.
They have a
or two.
team?
Soccer? Are you talking about
It's-
soccer?
Major League Soccer.
Nobody cares. Jeez. That's nobody on the planet cares about soccer. What are you kidding?
That's true. Yeah, nobody.
Are you kidding me? UAE? Nobody cares about soccer.
No, they care a lot because they're hosting the
Whoa.
World Cup.
Whoa, Bill, easy. That's our fans out there.
They're hosting the World Cup this year. You can't say that.
I don't know. What do you think, Buccigross? Do you like soccer, Buccigross? Huh? Why don't you come on our show and talk about soccer, Buccigross?
We wouldn't know. We gave you an hour and 14 minutes to reply, and you didn't.
Come on.
Now
rate
you're
my
public
chicken
enemy
parm.
number 1.
Come on, come rate my chicken parm. Let's go. Which you have twice.
Oh God!
You say come
Please
on.
tell me that that's not part of what's in Steve's stomach this time. Somebody coming in chicken parm. I just can't handle it.
I looked. I couldn't find it. I've looked.
Oh, thank God.
Wait,
Back to the trivia question.
Parm without coming in?
I'm gonna
it's not called
say.
chicken parm then.
I'm gonna say 1.
Oh, you got it. Steve nailed it.
You had to find the one question that would affect both of us.
Yeah, really. That fucking.
You're an asshole.
I got all excited until.
That's 84. What am I gonna do?
not read that stupid book anymore. It's page 75. Look, I see it.
Oh, there's multiple questions on Bill. You're showing it. Oh no, that's today's
That's the last question on the page. I got to
Okay.
flip to the new page. Don't worry. You're not going to
And
get.
now it's time for impressions of Nick.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
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 Wait.
And that was impressions of Nick.
Wait. You want to hear it? You want to hear an impression of Nick's dog? You want to hear an impression of Nick chewing potato chips? I don't have any. Shit. We're drinking tea.
Do you want to hear an impression of Nick's children? My dad's disgusting. He puts his fingers in the peanut butter jar.
An impression of Nick on the podcast. I'm wasted.
Do you want to hear an impression of Nick's wife, Tara? Not again, Nick. Do you want to hear another impression of Nick's wife, Tara? No, stupid. That's the cable line you just cut through.
Oh, poor guy. Poor guy.
I don't think he cut the cable.
No, I think it's
Whatever.
He
Same
definitely
thing.
didn't. It was the guy who was installing the fence. I don't think it was him.
Same thing.
Yeah, not sure it's the same thing. All right, let's go to this date in Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
Brought to you by our friends at Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Right here, we're saving calories. Round here, we all look so lean. Round here, we enjoy Coke Zero, but sacrifice flavor, no. Round here, Coke Zero's the way to go.
Good job.
Nailed it. All right, this is going to bring us to the year of our Lord 2013. 2013. Go to January 31st of 2013.
January 31st
Mhm.
in the year 2013 was the last day of January. It
You
was
sure
a
there wasn't
Thursday.
32 days in January that year?
It was a Thursday.
It wasn't a leap year?
It, I skipped breakfast this day,
Damn it.
had leftover baked macaroni for lunch.
Ooh. Who made it?
With
Mom
the-
or Tina?
My mom,
Uh,
with a can of Coca-Cola Classic. Because if I am not mistaken, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, not invented yet.
Or Coke Zero.
Or Coke Zero at that time. Dinner was homemade chicken tortellini soup with a can of Coca-Cola. Why did you pick January 31st, 2013? I've got my vomit bag handy.
Tom's stretching right now. That's scaring me.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
never good.
Listen, this story doesn't have names of people. But this was from a story out of Brazil. Okay. It was given that some amount of conflict will occur in any relationship, especially when they find out you have to renew your vows every 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
However, every couple deals with conflict in their own unique ways. You know, some silent treatment, sleeping on the couch, all that good stuff. However, few people take things to the extreme and actually attempt to kill their partners. Well, we've all heard media reports about this kind of thing before, but a recent story broke that involved the most bizarre method I've ever read about for attempting to kill a partner: a poison-laced vagina and a request for oral sex. Think about it. This is like one of the perfect crimes, but she doesn't execute it very well, as you'll find out. But this is brilliant. Several nations' international media outlets run the stories over the past few days regarding the case of a Brazilian woman accused of attempted murder on her husband with a highly unusual weapon. Apparently, the woman put some unspecified poison in and around her genitals before luring her partner into bed and asking him to perform cunnilingus. The husband was allegedly up to the task until he noticed an unusual scent emanating from his partner's vagina. I don't think that was the poison.
If you say the smell, so help me God.
Why does it smell so good today?
Is that peanut butter? In an iconic twist, the husband ended up taking his wife to the hospital, presumably because she started showing signs of poisoning, where she confessed her crimes and the doctor managed to save her life. Reports claimed that she apparently inserted enough poison inside of herself to kill not one, but 2 people. Although charges against the wife have not yet been filed. How? It is probably a safe bet. They will appear in the near future. There you have it. You want to kill your husbands, women? Put poison in your vagina.
I don't endorse that, because your body will absorb the poison if you stick it in there.
I agree.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, she is not very bright at all.
No, not even a little.
No.
Not even.
Is there? I mean, there's got to be. No, there's not a way. There's not a way. They don't make like a women condom that you put over it. No,
it doesn't make any sense that you would think that that's a smart thing to do.
No, she's pretty dumb. I mean, but how can you hate your husband that much to lace your vagina with poison?
If you got the poison, why not just put it in a drink?
You're right. I've seen like 2020s about people utilizing antifreeze slowly over time in Coca-Cola. And in Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Oh God, Steve.
Oh no. Oh no.
Turn away from the light.
Shit. Oh no. She said it was for her car. She had me buy the antifreeze.
Oh.
At least you know your blood's not going to get frozen. I mean,
that was an actual 2020, and it was a mom who tried to kill her kids and her husband.
Oh, wow!
That was an actual 2020,
and added it little by little so that it didn't just happen.
Yeah, but some was like she put some in the kids' Coke, and then she put some in her husband's Gatorade. So it was like spread out through everything, but she kept like her oldest daughter alive, and they like planned the whole thing. It was really, it was really fucked up. You wonder where I find these fucking stories.
It sounds like a subplot from The Sixth Sense.
Did one of the people try and kill the kid in Sixth Sense, or you're just?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen The Sixth Sense.
He was dead the whole episode, the whole movie, Bill.
Oh, you fucked it up for everybody.
No, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen The Sixth Sense. Should I?
Really?
Yeah. Is it like one of those movies that I have to watch?
There are so many movies you have to watch before you watch that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, yeah, and if the movie came out like 30 years ago and you're thinking, do I have to watch it? Yeah, you really don't.
Well, like what? What movie should I watch before?
I think you should watch Argo. I think you should watch Argo.
Goon.
Yeah, I think Goon. I agree with Billy. This just one movie.
Well, I mean, you're just not going to fucking. If you're not going to fucking listen to me, why should I go on and on and on with a list of fucking movies you should watch?
You might have a.
You're just going to diss the first one I recommend and say you should
watch
Goon
a better
instead.
movie than Affleck.
I told you had to watch the other guys. You still haven't fucking watched.
I've watched some of it,
and you thought it was funny.
You
thought it was funny, and you haven't gone back to it to watch the whole fucking thing.
No, I haven't. Hey, Buccigross. What movie should I watch, Johnny? Which one?
He's not going to reply. I don't even know why you're asking him.
Which movie should I watch before Sixth Sense, Johnny?
You know, John, we had a bond, the three of us. We're all Counting Crows fans.
That's right.
And I even sent you back in the day Counting Crows bootleg CDs. And
Wait,
you
wait,
won't
wait,
even
wait,
come
wait.
on our
Hold on, wait,
podcast.
wait,
Him a-
hold on,
You made him a
what?
mixtape?
You made him a mixtape?
No,
Yeah.
they were bootleg CDs.
Where did okay, you made it. Did you send it to him?
I very early on in Twitter sent him a DM. And
Did you
well, no,
slide
I
into his
tweeted,
DMs?
I know, I tweeted at him, and then he sent me a DM with the ESPN address to send them.
Do you know if you ever did you actually send them?
Yeah, of course I did. Was I not the first one at the post office the next fucking day mailing them out in padded envelopes? You crazy?
Did you write him a little note?
Yeah, he gave me a shout out on SportsCenter. You don't remember this?
No,
Because it didn't fucking happen.
of course it did.
I sent him the CDs. I got dick in return.
No,
Ooh,
wait, hold
well,
on a
something.
second. I want to go
I got
back.
nothing in return.
I want to go back just a little bit. So you sent him. Did you write a little note and put it in with the CDs?
I honestly don't remember, and I don't think it, like if I
He
don't think I did.
remembers. He remembers.
No, I swear to God, I don't think I did.
Here, John. Here are the CDs I promised you. I hope that you will find these as a gift of love.
I hope
From
they
me.
bring your heart as much light as they have brought to me.
You
Sorry,
are,
Bill. Sorry you didn't want Dream Theater fucking CDs.
You are my reign king.
Wow.
And he gave you nothing in return?
Nothing.
Dick. He said he got dick.
I got nothing.
I'm sure he got dick.
Zero, zilch, nothing.
Oh, John Buccigross didn't give Steve anything.
Broke my
Oh,
little heart in two.
you
Broke
poor,
more than your heart. No?
poor
No?
little guy. I feel so bad for you now.
Why?
Poor little guy. You got your hopes and your dreams. I'm gonna send these to John Buccigross. Oh my god, he's gonna be my best friend.
No, there were other times you might be able to say that, but there was no expectations in sending these.
Come on.
CDs out.
Your little heart fluttered and your palms got a little sweaty and you got so excited. I would have said John Buccigross.
I don't think that's true.
You know, you were hoping you were going to meet up at a concert and at least high five each other during long December.
Mm,
Wow.
No.
This is gonna go in Steve's book.
This is gonna it's gonna go in my book tonight as to reasons why I kill you both.
just do me a favor. Don't put
I'm
poison
gonna put
on your
CDs.
vagina.
I'm gonna put
Okay.
CDs in your fucking coffin too.
We peel the onion on Steve just a little bit more.
No, this is no onion peeling tonight.
Are you okay, buddy? You need a hug? I feel for you. I understand your pain.
It's not my fault.
But Steve, honestly though, it's not your fault. Steve, it's not your fault.
Can we go
It's not your
back
fault.
to making
It's not your
fun
fault.
of Nick? Can we go back, please? Can we talk about Nick some more?
Son, it's not your fault, son. All right. That's gonna do it for us. We're gonna let Steve recover for a week.
Not a moment too fucking soon.
Don't forget to follow us on the Twitter at friends_arrivals. Send Steve a couple Counting Crows.
Send me a CD. I need some blank CDs to make up for the ones I sent to Buccigross.
Leave us a review on Apple Podcast. We will read them on the air if you want us to. We don't have any reviews. We can't read anything. We suck. Turn on notifications for our podcast wherever you get them, so you'll never miss an episode of the Friends and Rivals podcast. Billy, say something witty.
This is gonna take a minute. I'm sorry, because it's gonna fuck up the flow of what we just had. But I was watching the Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Bucks last night, and I made kind of a little discovery. because I'm watching Tom Brady play. The guy's got 7 Super Bowl rings and he's got nothing to prove, right? And he leaves this pretty much. Well, he didn't leave his wife, but he came back to the NFL knowing that he was jeopardizing his relationship with this gorgeous woman, right? And he goes to play for Todd Bowles, who we saw coach for the Jets. We know he's a shit coach. Nobody knows how the hell Todd Bowles has another job in the NFL, fucking cleaning jock straps, never mind being a head coach. So why would he go back where he's got no real chance to win? He's got nothing to prove anyway. And it just occurred to me like that last night. Tom Brady's gay. Tom Brady's gay, wants to be in the locker room and see all the guys get undressed. That's the only thing he's got that he could be going back to that he can't get somewhere else in his life right now. So once I realized that, I just want to say, Tom, I support you. I don't say it to belittle him. I love gay people. More power to you. Tom, I'm with you.
All right. All right.
That was Bill Fougere, everyone. Just I don't want there to be any confusion about the voices.
You can sing us out now.
Oh, my friends and rivals, fly as fuck, fly as fuck, fly